So when you're talking about springtime, we're in winter right now, but if you're talking about winter to springtime crankbaits, do not overlook these flat-sided crankbaits. And in this episode of Honor of the Line, I'm gonna show you guys my favorites that are in this box.
That's a life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand, something you can't feel on dry land. You gotta get your arms way up in a cage and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. You gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loom that's right. I bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, give it a whirl. Hello, welcome to my world.
As you can tell, I have quite a few, and this is just one box. So I just put some of my favorites in here to show you guys in this lure lock box here. These are in no particular order, to be honest with you. These are just baits that I feel like that you could pick up, this time of year, whether it be, when the water is cold. Crankbaits can still be an amazing way to catch bass, so don't overlook that. You think that's cold weather, cold water, the fish aren't gonna be chasing. That's true to an extent, but sometimes they can be magical. So again, in no particular order, we will start with one of my absolute favorite baits on the planet. As far as flat side crankbaits, this is a Spro Little John 50 Type R. Difference between this and a regular 50. You can hear that rattle. This thing has an absolute thump of a rattle to it. This might be my all-time favorite collar in this crankbait. This is Rayburn Red. Amazing. It's got that micarta bill. People call it computer chip bill or whatever. This is modeled after those hardcore flat-sided balsa baits that everybody goes crazy for. Really cool looking bait. This bait right here, again, the difference is with these will be, if the bait store that around you has these, they will be right with the regular Little John 50s, but they literally say Type R on them. TYPE and the letter R, Type R. That tells you that it has a rattle in it. These things are amazing. Like here's one. There's several. Obviously, there's 100 different collars of them probably. But here's a couple more collars here. Again, got that really thump of a rattle to it. Another really cool collar in that. Still got that rattle, obviously. And again, no particular order on these things. So with that being said, keeping in that same kind of collar scheme and shape is the Shimano Macbeth Flat. I really like these baits. And if I can get these apart here, I apologize, but we're going to be looking at a couple of these. But I've really fallen in love with this bait. Really like the action. Really like the the profile of it. It's really small. The kind of tail section kind of tapers down a little bit. It's not a very big bait. It's probably 1.5 inches long without the bill. Misty threw this bait last year when we were at Yatesville, and absolutely, she absolutely killed me one day on this crankbait. It was, she was throwing on a spinning rod, so take that for what it's worth. She was probably moving this a little slower, but I have caught some, a decent amount of bass on these things. I've caught some giants over the last couple of years or over the last year. I've only had them for the year. I think they've only been out for a year and a half. Here's one in Pro Blue. You can see that this one's never been used. These two have never been used. They still have the rubber bands on the hooks. These are again Shimano Macbeth Flats. Here's a bluegill collar of that same bait. Really digging this collar here. It's got some glitter in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I just love the shape of that bait. That's a Shimano Macbeth. That's a Macbeth 57F, which is MB 57F Macbeth Flat. I think you can't go any farther without talking about the Fritz size. So we got a Fritz size 7, Fritz size 5. There's a couple of these baits we're going to look at. So right here, just to make sure this is true. Yeah, so this is a Fritz size 5 biggin. I think my favorite color of any of these things, springtime gonna be red like this. The Kentucky Blue or KY Blue is one of my favorite, but this is a frit side 5 big end, but this is what they call a clacking. It has that rattle in it. I really like rattles when the water gets cold. And here is a frit side 3. I keep lying to you. This is now a frit side 5 junior clicking. I love the look of this bait. It has that matte look or that matte action there. We were talking to Bailey McKinney last week on the show live, and he mentioned that some pros go as far as saying that matte baits catch more fish in the wintertime or colder weather. So who knows? But this is a click-in version. Again, a little kind of more high pitched. It has a smaller rattle in that one. So that is a 5 big end here as well, different collar. Couple of these 5 juniors here, really like this. I think this one's called Spring Crawl. When the water's really dirty, gonna be a go-to bait for me. I really like that. Here's a couple more in this, I think it's called Thread Fin. Pretty daggone cool bait. And as far as rounding out the selection of flat-sided crankbaits that I have, well, first off, this is really not a flat side, but one of the things that you can't not throw this time of year is going to be a Rapala Shad Rap. This thing catches fish. This is a suspending crankbait. You can stop it and it'll suspend where it's at. Like, it is crazy good, especially when the water's cold. So that's going to be, we'll kind of lump that into the flat side because it is kind of a flat side bait. But I think to round this out, there's 2 more baits I'm going to talk about, and that's going to be the Otts Garage. This is the Otts Garage Tiny, and this one right here is the Slim 6. I like these baits a lot. These are balsa baits. They're going to have a little bit different. This one is a balsa bait. This one is not. But it's going to have a little bit different action when, like, if it hits something, it's going to, if the water's really cold, this balsa is going to sink really slow, more slowly coming up to the surface. So these baits right here are going to be something that I'm going to be throwing this time of year. Again, this one's a lot thinner. This is probably the thinnest bait that I've shown you so far. And last but not least, the Strike King Chick Magnet. These are all amazing baits for this time of year when water gets cold. If you want to throw some crankbaits, get out there and do some power fishing. Don't overlook these baits, especially the Shad Rap, because again, they're suspending. You can stop them. You can reel them a little bit slow and stop them. Basically have the same action as a jerk bait. So do not look over or overlook that. I believe that is a Shad Rap 5, but we're also, again, talking about the, this is a Type R, Little John. You have the Shimano World Minnow, or I'm sorry, not the World Minnow, but you have the Shimano this is a Macbeth Flat. You're gonna have frit side 5s, frit side 7s, frit side 9s. Most of these are flat sides, really good, really like those. Again, then we kind of rounded it out with the Otts Garage stuff from Rapala, as well as the Chick Magnet from Strike King. Those are baits that I consistently catch fish on, especially this time of year when the water gets cold, fish get lethargic. If you still want to do some cranking, don't overlook those flat side crankbaits. And if you catch some fish on them, let me know, guys. I'd love to see your success stories. So thanks for watching this episode of On Another Line. We'll see you next time. And as you guys know, if you can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line.